Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's episode of The Rundown. I will be your host and guide today. My name is Craig DeLuz, but as we always say, I do not do this program all by myself.
Sitting in the co-host chair today, it's me again, Mike Piwowarski, and welcome to the Taco Tuesday edition of The Rundown.
Dude, you know what's really cool is, so today is Taco Tuesday, and
Yes.
tomorrow is Cinco de Mayo. So it's like a twofer in 1 week.
It is. You know what? And you know what happens when you get the combination of Cinco de Mayo and Taco Tuesday?
What do you get? What do you get?
Well, first off, you know what today is May the 4th be with you.
Oh, that's right. That's
Gonna
right. I
start?
totally forgot. Yeah, May
Yep.
the 4th be with you. Star Wars Day.
Star Wars Day, May the 4th be with you. But when you combine May the 4th be with you with Cinco de Mayo, you get our newest hero, Juan Solo.
Wow. Okay. Very nice. Very nice. So, for those of you who are wondering, yeah, after today's episode, Mike will be going to racial sensitivity training.
I will. I am the instructor.
Why do I find that so easy to believe?
Well, it's true. Somebody has to be the bad example, Craig.
I don't know. I don't know if that's a good thing, but it's definitely a thing.
It's true. It's the truthuses, as the kids
It's
say.
the truthuses.
The truthuses.
All right. With that, I think it's time that we actually got into today's stories. So, those of you who have been following the news, if you haven't been following the news, America's immigration policy has significantly changed. It went from under President Trump, where we actually enforced our borders, and to now what we have is what we call a sanctuary country policy, where unless you have been recently convicted of a violent crime or terrorism, if we catch you here in the United States and you didn't enter illegally, we're just going to let you out on the streets. And we have actually found that, dozens of individuals have been released from both federal and local custody as a result of these policies. When I say dozens, I mean dozens of people who are actually violent criminals, including people who've assaulted officers and sexual predators.
Yeah, listen. To say that the policies have changed is a great understatement. It's horrible now. Listen, if you come through a border checkpoint, they're going to stop and process you the normal way. But if you come through between the border checkpoints, they're letting you continue to come across unchecked. So the people that we see in the detention facilities, and these are inspection facilities, whatever, waiting for paperwork to go back or be processed, are continuing to pile up. In fact, this week the president quadrupled the number of illegal aliens he's going to let into the country up to 62,500. Craig, the policy says, like you stated, they're stopping people that are recognized as domestic terrorists or terrorism, or they're recently convicted of aggravated felonies. But sex offenders, come on. I mean, we know the Democrat Party's full of them, so why would we stop them? Let's let the sex offenders in, and that's exactly what's going on right now.
And they're like uniquely qualified to be Democrats. I guess that's what it is. That's how they know.
Exactly right. Listen. The president spent last president, President Trump, spent 4 years exposing this ridiculousness of what's gone on with the sex offenders in our government and our Democrat Party. And we know Jeffrey Epstein did not kill himself. It's my opinion, it's my belief, Craig. This is why we still have the fences up around the House and the Congress and the White House, is because it's protecting all the people of Washington, D.C. from the sex offenders behind the gate.
Really? Okay. Hold on a second. So I'm sorry. I'm having to remove. I'm like doing some stuff here behind the scenes, and I had to make sure that I removed one solo. But yeah, man, the thing is that one of the things that defines a country, there's culture, language, and borders. Yeah. And if we are not even willing to enforce our borders with, against those who have committed violent crimes.
Yeah.
I mean, these folks are being released onto our streets, and we're seeing reports at least once a week or once every other week about an individual who's either been robbed, who's either been shot, who's been sexually assaulted by an individual who is here in this country illegally. Now, that's not to say that everybody who comes into the country illegally is committing these crimes, but if we can keep people who've committed these crimes where they came from coming into this country, I don't care if it was recent or not.
Yeah.
Shouldn't we be doing that?
Yeah, they don't care. They literally don't care. They don't matter, because like we talked about yesterday, these are people that are they're going to come here and receive assistance, financial assistance, which is going to be buying their votes. We know that we have many states out there that are allow illegal aliens to get driver's licenses or just vote without any ID whatsoever. They are buying votes, and they're not worried about these crimes against children, Craig, not whatsoever, because children don't vote. So it doesn't matter to them.
Well, exactly. So, all right. So one of the things that I want to do, I want to get on to the next story. So we all know that gun buybacks are a big joke. I mean, everybody who's involved in these things will tell you that even people who support gun buybacks will tell you it does not prevent gun violence or sorry, not gun violence. I don't believe in that term. Violence involving firearms. It doesn't prevent people from utilizing firearms or from committing violence with or without firearms. But one of the more recent jokes that has been going around when it comes to these gun buyback programs is individuals actually making homemade guns. I'm not talking about ghost guns. I'm not talking about 80% lowers or 3D printed guns. I'm talking about literally like homemade, like single shot guns, spending a few bucks and literally going and actually turning these things in at gun buyback programs. And I wanted Mike to kind of share with you a little bit about how they do this.
Yeah, listen. First off, these gun buyback programs, Craig, we know they have zero effectiveness on controlling crime or controlling any crimes involving a firearm. They're worthless. They are feel-good programs. If your government is sponsoring them, then your government's giving away your tax money that you paid them. They don't work at all. The guns that you're seeing out there right now, Craig, that people are taking advantage of are these homemade, and they call them slam fire guns. It's basically you take yourself a piece of wood. There's a picture. You can take the look at the picture there. Take yourself a piece of wood, put a pipe on there, put a big rubber band or a bungee cord and a nail through a tube, and you've made yourself a slam fire firearm. Listen, it works. It'll shoot a single shot shotgun. You can do it with any other kind of round that you want. They work. Now, in Pensacola, there was some, I don't know, a little bit of disagreement over whether or not these were turned in. Well, what happened was in Pensacola this past March, they had this gun buyback program, and they had something like $10,000 to give away. It was a crazy scheme. They had $200 for semi-automatic guns, $150 for pistols, $125 for shotguns, something along those lines. And they ran out of money within the first 30 minutes they were there because people were turning in old crap, and you can see the pictures of all the crap that they turned in. It was just old nasty stuff that nobody wanted. They come to find out that most of them were just turning those guns in to get the money so they could go buy other guns because they were giving such a fair market price. Normally gun buybacks are $25 or $50, but this time it was decent money. So yeah, these guns actually work. And Pensacola said, no, we did not buy those guns back. Well, what had happened was they'd run out of money. So they were going to give them the money for the guns, but they had no money left for those slam fire guns.
Well, but here's the thing. Once they demonstrate that these firearms work, there have been instances that these gun buyback programs where they are actually giving them the money for these boomsticks. Yes.
Oh, yeah. And let's make no mistake. They were going to give them the money in Pensacola. Yeah. They just ran out. By the time he got to the front of the line, they had run out. There's a company out there, and he's a good friend, Mark Serbu. It's Serbu Firearms. Makes some incredible 50 cal guns and things like that. But he also makes what's called a GB22. And if you ever go to Serbu, that's SERBU, Serbu Firearms. Take a look at it. You could buy the plans or buy the gun. It's like $100. It's a cheap working firearm, and he calls it his gun buyback gun because you can build your own gun for $100 and then take it to a gun buyback for $150 or $200.
See, what these folks fail to understand is that American ingenuity, when you don't understand when they don't understand the technology, it's real easy to make them look stupid. And the worst part, though, is that they don't really care because, objective truth means absolutely nothing to them. Facts means absolutely nothing. It's all about how they feel. And
that's right. And it's with gun buybacks are feel good
Right.
encounters. That's all that is. It's
Right.
again, if it's Walmart giving away their money, great, get you some of Walmart's money. If it's the government giving away your money, yeah, I'd file a complaint because it
Right.
does nothing.
Absolutely nothing. Well, folks, I do want to tell you about something, that is not nothing. And that has to do with, well, our American educational system. There is an instance, and in California, there's a community college, it's Cypress College. It's located in Southern California. And there was a professor who berated a student because he dared to call law enforcement heroes. Here, check out the interaction. Luckily, this was via Zoom, so we actually have evidence of this particular interaction. So check it out real quick.
All right. So you brought up the police in your speech a few times. So what is your main concern? Since, honestly, the whole reason police, it is systemic. The issue is systemic because the whole reason we have police departments in the first place, where did it stem from? What's our history? Going back to what Jeremy was talking about, what does it stem from? It stems from people in the South wanting to capture runaway slaves.
Maybe they shouldn't be heroes. Maybe they don't belong on a kid's show.
So I disagree with what Jeremy said about it because I think cops are heroes and they have to have a difficult job, but we have to have that
all of
fine
them.
Life. Oh, I'd say a good majority of them. You have bad people in every business and every part.
Yeah.
Well, wait.
Police officers have committed atrocious crimes and have gotten away with it and have never been convicted of any of it. And I say this as a person who has family members who are police officers.
Yes, I understand. And this is what I believe. This is my opinion. And this is, not popular to say, but I do support our police, and we have bad people, and the people that do bad things should be brought to justice. I agree with that. But I think that say it again.
They haven't.
Well, I agree with you on that point of they should, right?
Okay, so what is your bottom line point? You're saying police officers should be revered, viewed as heroes? They belong on TV shows with children?
I think they are heroes in a sense because they come to your need and they come and help you, and they have a problem just like every other business, but we should fix that. But I think they're heroes. Well,
I think that's the problem, is looking at it as a business. Because they're actually supposed to protect and serve the people.
They do protect us. What do we call when we're in trouble and someone has a knife or a gun?
I wouldn't call the police.
Why wouldn't you call the police?
I don't trust them. My life's in more danger.
Who would you call?
In their presence.
Professor, who would you call?
I wouldn't call anybody.
Well, would you have if someone intruded your house with a gun? What would you have a gun on you, or who would you call?
It's my time to go.
Okay.
Well, I'm not going to
If someone already in your house with a gun, there's not much you can do at that point. Calling the police is kind of just,
And I know that it's not popular for me to say that to you guys and people in here, but that's what I believe about the police.
Okay,
and,
thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you guys for listening to my point. I appreciate it. Thanks.
I will say, yeah, I'm glad you did say that, even if I disagree with you. It's important that.
And we should fight for the right for people to say things that we don't even like, right?
I may not agree with what you say, but I'll fight for your right to say it.
Amen, brother.
Within some extent, I'll say.
Okay, folks, we are.
Dude, I would have been. I would have attempted to climb through the monitor, and just. I can't believe this woman. First of all, this young man did a phenomenal job of holding his ground. Although you could tell he's trying and find common ground with her.
Right.
And she was having none of it.
Craig, here's my impression of the dean at Cypress College. Hello, Central Casting. Yes. We need a teacher. Could you send over a terrorist-looking woman that's just crazy? Yeah. Oh, yeah. No. The crazier idea is the better. Yeah. No, it got to be that terrorist-looking thing. Yeah. Thanks a lot. Okay, great. Bye. And this is what they got. They got this crazy lady, Craig. This was her first day on the job. She comes in there and she just goes total whack job on these kids. Absolutely ridiculous. I'm wondering if when she did her real interview with the Cypress College folks there, that she showed up all nice and proper and then just literally got to the classroom and went whack job, because that's what she is. Luckily, first day, she's done, she's gone, and we won't have to hear about crazy lady anymore. Although maybe the Department of Homeland Security should be looking at her.
Well, dude, the interesting thing is that she's she's supposed to be teaching communications, right?
Yes.
What makes her an expert on law enforcement, on law enforcement policies? Literally, her job is supposed to be teaching them how to communicate. And by the way, this was a presentation on cancel culture, and well, clearly she didn't get that she's part of the cancel culture. She didn't get that she's part of the problem that he's pointing out, which, by the way, makes his presentation that much more effective.
Yeah. Listen, I don't want to throw people under the bus that have communications degrees or whatever they're studying in college, but every time I've ever asked anybody that's taking a communications degree what that entails, they all say, it's hard to explain. Well, I think that's what communications is. I think that's what you're supposed to be able to do.
Right. If you can't explain it, then you should get an F.
Yeah, that's it.
Speaking of not being able to explain it, now we all know that President Biden has talked many times about his desire to ban quote unquote assault weapons. What a lot of people don't realize is that one of the firearms that he includes amongst his list of assault weapons that he wants to ban, how about Glocks?
More people out there get shot with a Glock that has that has cartridges that you can have magazines that can put 2, 10, 8, 12, 15, 30 shells in it than from any assault weapon you see.
So he's pointing to he's talking about the fact that you can have magazines that hold over 10 rounds or hold multiple, and he's basically he's talking about wanting to ban Glocks.
Yeah, Glocks. Yeah, and I believe at one point he said he banned Glocks.
Yes.
Is what he said. So, just Sleepy Joe. He don't know what he's got going on there. It's he's going to make stuff up. We see this every time this guy gets up there. It used to be when President Bush W would get up there and say things, and he would go, and he would make that little noise. And I know the speechwriters were in the back going, oh no, he's going off the speech again. He's leaving the reservation, and he would get up there and throw some of his Bushisms out there and his own folksy stuff. Well, it's got to be like that with Sleepy Joe here. Every time he gets up there and he goes, "Come on, man," and he just starts talking and coming up with his own references that to. I remember when the aliens took my brain the first time. It's just what is this guy talking about? Okay, you've never banned Glocks, Joe. You've never done that. There's not 250 a day getting killed like this. It's just stop making stuff up.
Well, but what's funny is that the media is letting him totally get away with this stuff.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
But what's been really neat is you notice like the late night hosts and the comedians are like, I can't let this go. I cannot not say something. I have to say something. This is too funny to not comment on. Which is weird because I don't know if you ever saw that commentary where someone said, well, he's just too straightforward and too nice a guy to make fun of. Like, what?
Yeah, what? That's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Yeah. Listen, we talked earlier in the week about Washington Post getting rid of their fact checker for the presidential statements. Under Trump, they were having a great time, but it's my true belief that they got rid of that one because they would spend all day long correcting Crazy Joe, Sleepy Joe. So rather than correct the current president that they wholeheartedly support in everything he does, they just disbanded that organization. So they don't have to correct fact check him anymore.
Exactly. They don't want to have to pay overtime. That's exactly what it is. They don't want to have to pay overtime to fact check all of this. I will say this. President Trump was known for exaggeration, or as I like to say, he liked to put dubs on them, right? For example, when he said that his inauguration was the most watched, most well attended ever. I'm like, no, you didn't see. I looked at the photos. That's not even close to the truth. But to out and outright pull stuff out of his rear end the way that Joe Biden does, and I don't understand exactly. I mean, you don't even have to necessarily even do any research to determine that Joe Biden has no idea what he's talking about.
I love watching his speeches because you see everybody in the audience, they'll get all into it, and then you'll see many times through it, they'll be like, what did he say? What that guy say? Check to make sure they heard it right. You know, you see a lot of that going on with his speeches.
Well, and then the media. What's funny is it's even funnier watching them like the look on their face, like he did not just say that.
Yeah.
I know that's not true, and then avoid asking him a question about it.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely right. Well, that's
as if he's actually going to answer.
We're all on the same team. You know, listen, don't ask the question that's going to make them look foolish. You know, it's not right. Listen, when President Trump, like you said this is the largest inauguration ever, they all over him, jumped him every day,
within
all day
seconds.
Long, within moments of it. And listen,
right.
Craig, I know you saw some pictures, but how wide were they? Because it was the biggest inauguration ever. Orange, good man.
Orange man good. Orange man good. Okay, folks, let's get into today's parting shot. And I think that you all will very much appreciate this one as I do. This one was brought to you by our good friend, Mr. Pilwarski. Says you must wear masks, stay in your home, close your businesses, and take your vaccine. There will be fines and consequences. What's interesting to me about this particular one is that, what I find interesting about it is, I think as we're entering the era past vaccines, with the vaccine, having a third, they estimate up to a third of the people in the country have actually had COVID. We've got to be getting to a point where people can actually start making decisions for their own health, right? I mean, we've got to be there now, right?
Listen, you're in the 14th month of 2 weeks to flatten the curve. Okay, let's start off by saying that you're in the 14th month of we just need 2 weeks to flatten the curve. This has gone on long enough. The governor down here in Florida has said, and we'll probably cover this tomorrow. He has said we're done. We're done again. There'll be no vaccine passports in Florida. They're illegal to even ask for one. It doesn't matter if you're a private business or you're the government. You can't even ask to see one in Florida. If you try to discriminate against somebody for not having a passport, a vaccine passport, you're going to jail. No longer can there be any fines, any mask restrictions, any social distancing restrictions placed by the government, any government entity in Florida. Now, if businesses still want to practice social distancing and do that, private businesses, they're more than able to do so. The governor said that. But we're done. Craig, we have been stepping off that teeter-totter for months down here in Florida. As long as we do not consent, they cannot put these restrictions on us. We're done. We're out.
Well, we can't necessarily say that in California. Although what has happened in California is while they put all of these crazy wild restrictions, most law enforcement throughout the state has pretty much said we're not enforcing it. They've said we're tired of this. We're not going to take your edicts because most of these restrictions that were put in place were not passed by a vote of the legislature, by a vote of the people. They were literally dictates that came down on high from Gavin Mussolini. And he's just decided this is what it's going to be. And I'm going to change it up every few weeks or every few months. And you will do what I say. And he doesn't even realize that most people are just ignoring it. They're just flat out ignoring him. And, the one part, though, where it's really, I think, hurting us the most is not just our economy, but our kids. Our kids being basically, California is dead last when it comes to kids getting back to school. And it's been estimated that kids have lost, over a year of learning, of classroom learning, the ability, and it's going to impact them for a lifetime. Yep. I'm done and tired of it. I'm sorry, I'm a grown adult. And when you have demonstrated that you, when I mean you, I mean the government, when you have demonstrated that you have lied to me or you refuse to provide the information to me upon which you are basing your decisions, I'm sorry that I have no reason to trust you. And I don't trust you. So go jump in the lake.
Craig, put that picture back up for me for a second here. I want to make sure, because everybody, you said it so succinctly. I want everybody to see what's actually going on here. We as the people, if we do not consent and we step off that board, the government will fail. They will fall without us. Okay, and that's perfectly executed here in this picture. If we say we do not consent, and you could be agreeing with me and Craig right now, but if you go into a store and they say put your mask on and you put one on just to avoid the hassle, you're part of the problem. Okay, you need to be the person that provides the hassle. Be respectful, obey the law, or saying that. But these businesses need to hear from you. No, we're done. Hey, government, we're done. We're not doing this anymore. I'm not going to let you put these controls on me. We are not your lapdogs.
Amen. Preach it, brother. All right, folks. Well, hey, that's going to be it for today's episode of The Rundown. We very much appreciate you liking and sharing and subscribing, telling your friends to do the same.
Like, share, subscribe. Like, share, subscribe. We'll see you on Hump Day. We'll see you on Cinco de Mayo.
Cinco de Mayo. I'll let you tomorrow.